Good afternoon. Just woke up a little bit ago and heading down to the local Ross store to get a couple pairs of shorts so I can start going to the gym again and not just going on walks down at on the trail at the golf course place. I've got to get my sleep back under control, because when I get a lack of sleep and I get exhausted, so my anxiety gets to be at its worst. And when my anxiety starts going, that's when I start doing the whole catastrophication type bullshit, and I start worrying about things I shouldn't have to worry about. Even though I've moved past that person and I'm trying to move on in life, I mean, I'm not trying, I'm moving on. I've moved on from them. It's the hard part, I think, is not so much trying to move on from my narc. Guess that's what we'll call her. It's trying to get away from the effects and the damages that they create and they cause when you're together and when you're with them. And then even when you're not with them, because even when you're not with them, anytime they get mad, they have no self-control on what they say or do when it comes to you and other people. You might have some narcissists that might get physical with you and all. That's usually the guys and shit out there. And they might pull some crazy weird shit. But women tend to do the same thing. They just don't get physical. It's primarily mental. So if you think about it in the sense of, you know, in any, I guess you could say, generalized crime, look at the type of methods that a woman is more likely to use compared to a man. Those same types of methods are most likely going to be used by a narcissist or anybody else. It's all abuse. Women typically will abuse you utilizing the intimacy in the relationship, whether it's holding back, withholding, or whatever, or using it like a reward system or a form of bribery. They tend to use a lot of guilt. They do like to use gaslighting and reactive abuse, because then if they can get you as a guy to react to what they're doing, even if it's just getting extremely pissed off and you start yelling at them, that's their way of getting that reaction, and then they can turn around and tell everybody what kind of horrible human being you are. And they usually will start off in doing so with their own family and close friends. And then that family and those close friends, through lack of a better word, will start the gossip mill themselves. It's like they're the startups. They're the first, they're the original flying monkeys. And then they got their little team, their little team of supporters there, and they begin their smear campaigning. And from there, this could take, depending on how many people they want to get involved. And usually, if you're dealing with a bad enough narcissist, they will go to every fucking person you've ever known, if they can do so, and they will do whatever they can to destroy who you are to those people. This is why, like in my situation, I've been forced to not only sell my home, and I'm homeless right now. I'm still waiting for my house to finish selling. Sorry. But it's why I've been forced to sell, and then I'm being forced to basically move, and I can't tell anybody where I'm going, because I cannot trust that person at all. They're a county employee with access to information that really they should not be having access to. Because personally, I think they've been abusing their position, their job anyways. It takes time after dealing with the situation and that kind of abuse to really ever get past the depression, the anxiety, and the fears. And some of, even like in my situation, I'm like right now, when I go into public spaces, I deal with a lot of anxiety. And there was a time there I would start having panic attacks before going into a grocery store because of what that person did to me. And my doctors and all that would basically talk me into just facing those fears and just get into the store type thing and just face it. And if I have to, just create kind of like a bubble, which that's what I do. I don't make eye contact with people if I can. I just sort of keep my head down and try to tell myself I'm pretty much the only one there, especially if there's a shit ton of people. I've been dealing with the effects from the narcissistic abuse now for a couple years and have been getting therapy for the abuse that I've been dealing with for the last couple years. That person doesn't realize what I've been doing since their shit went way overboard with their abuse. And anytime I found myself starting to melt down, like my last real bad meltdown that I had, I immediately contacted my doctor and was like, look, this is what's going on, and I need to get this under control, and it's all stemming from my anxieties and all this shit, and he knows it. I love my doctor. I have a really good doctor. And I talked to him about what had transpired and all that stuff, and did a little bit of a med adjustment and switched out one. And it's been doing pretty good. I stick to relying on my coping tools and stuff and the things that they've taught me. And then things that I've learned over the years when dealing with people in public spaces. The hardest part has been for me to deal with is the anxiety and the fear of, because of how I've been treated by my ex and others. I'm afraid to talk to most people, and when I've been treated like complete shit by my own friends and family, it makes it even that much harder to try to talk to anybody new. And those effects last for a long while. And normally, for those out there, if they're able to find someone that is sort of able to help them get through that last little stretch, and all that, they've got a good start going for them. I've still got somebody there, a support system, a close friend, an interest, anything like that. Don't put all your baggage and bullshit on them, but don't be afraid to let some people in. I know, even from personal experience, even going through this, I have to be very selective about who I let close to me. Even people that I at one point trusted for a long time. And it's because after you deal with these levels of mental, emotional, and financial types of abuses, and it's a spiritual abuse too, because it burns you out in every single fucking way. It takes a long time, not just to deal with the effects from it and everything like that, but it affects every single relationship you have. Not just the relationship you have with them. It'll affect every single relationship that you have. You could have people that are not even associated with that person, not associated with anybody they talk to, or don't listen to the bullshit. It will still affect your trust. It'll still affect your ability to want to be around people, because you sit back and you're going, okay, this person, I just gave everything of myself to, and they were closer to me than my own children. So how do I trust somebody like that to those degrees of any nature like that again? I've had to put all my reliance on this healing process on God. And a lot of people might sit back and be like, well, I don't see you reading the Bible, I don't see you doing this, I don't see you doing that. I do read, but I'll never claim to be one of those people that I know this verse and that verse. You're not going to see me throw that out. I do my Bible study. I'm still a student. I'm still learning. I'm still regaining my faith. In all of this, all it's doing is strengthening my faith. I know one of my friends, they had lost their cat a while ago, for example, and they were really upset and worried about their cat, because their cat normally would come right back, and they've been missing for quite a while. And they sort of kept some level of hope that their cat was okay, but they're, kind of going through the motions of accepting that most likely the cat's not okay. Well, I believe it was either last night or this morning, because I got the message this morning that my friend's cat was found, and it turns out that their cat had been living with a family of raccoons in the neighborhood. In an area that animal most likely should have, it sounds horrible when I say this, but would have and most likely and should have most likely been hit by a car. It's a city neighborhood. Either hit by a car or a dog. You do get coyotes in the city out here and stuff like that. They weren't, they finally made the statement today, God is good. And I told them, I said, yes, He is. I said, that's one little miracle that God's showing you that He's there. Even though I've lost just about everything in everyone in my life, I didn't lose God, and I didn't lose all my faith, and that little bit of faith that I still kept holding on to, that little bit of hope. I was able to see through all this shit and build up enough strength to leave. The moment they discarded me, I made sure that they could never repeat the cycle again. Whether it's 3 months from then, 6 months from then, a year from then, 5 years from then, it's not gonna happen again. The part of the cycle that is very, very hard to break are the effects and the long-term mental and emotional effects that come from it. The financial effects will even itself out. It'll end up in time. Yeah, you have to accept your losses and all that, and you'll regain what you lost in that perspective. The hardest thing to lose is the people around you. That has been the hardest thing for me, because there are people that have been really important to me that I haven't really been able to talk to in a long time because of this relationship. Those friendships and all that have been destroyed. And when those judgments have already been made and been passed, and they never took the time to talk to you, they just immediately believed everything. It comes to a point you have to weigh your option. Is it even worth trying to talk to them and rekindle that friendship again? I suggest for anybody else that is in my shoes or is currently in a narcissistic relationship, yes, you need to seek help, and you need to get away as fast as possible. not everybody has the strength to do this shit on their own. Let alone alone. Most people don't. And a lot of them start to cave into the trauma bonds and all that stuff. Don't do it. Unless you are a sadomasochist and you enjoy pain, don't fucking do it. Don't talk to that person. Do everything you can to avoid them. If you have children with that person, use a mediator. Do not talk to them. If you have adult children with them, then you're going to have to accept the fact that there is no reason to talk to them at all. There's no reason for contact. None of it. The damages that they create are so extensive. Even if they had the big enough balls and the strong enough backbone and spine to do the right thing, they won't. They dig holes so fucking deep. They know that if they were to actually open up themselves and be honest to people about their shit, just their fear alone would bury them in that hole like a grave. When most people in general, when you're honest and upfront about what you've done and if you did wrong or whatever, they get a little frustrated, perturbed, whatever. They might not want to talk to you for a little while, but in the end, they generally will forgive you. Hell, when you deal with a narcissistic relationship, you're also going to end up realizing that stuff's also going to affect your politics in the sense of who you vote for, because you'll start picking up those traits in the politicians. And just like anybody else, they're all this way. Anyways, I'm down at the store. I've got to go and find a couple pairs of gym shorts so that I can start hitting the gym again and all that, start getting out there. And even though I'm not comfortable with it, I'm facing my fears. And I'm trying to get out there so I can be used to being around other human beings again. Just so that there's people around. I'm alone all the time. But we'll see what, all I can do is, leave it all into God's hands. Even if I, no matter how much I want to just, take all the shit that they ever did to me and be able to just bundle it up in a great big fucking ball and just throw it right back at them. You gotta leave the and to keep it more or less short and direct, you gotta leave the vengeance to God and karma. You gotta leave it in their hands. And that's what I've been doing. Even when at times emotionally or mentally I start to get upset or angry, it's like, man, I wish they would go through what I went through. I wish this person would take responsibility for what they did. You don't want to take revenge. You want to leave, like I said, you want to leave that in God and karma's hands. So, yeah. Again, I'm cutting it here. And I hope you guys have a good day. Slowly turning things around for myself and all. I still got a lot of healing to do and all that, but I'm doing it. Thanks for watching again.